Hi, Leo. Welcome to your October 2018 Astro Update. It's Raina here. And this is a big month for you in regards to home and family and even like real estate matters. And I think that the real estate matters might actually be front and center because Venus is retrograding in this house. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm just going to start from the beginning of the month, and the sun is in your third house of teaching and learning. So you may be thinking, getting involved with something that is connected to some kind of training program specifically, or perhaps you are doing public speaking, some kind of an engagement in that sense, or it could even be internet based. So I don't know how that would play out for you. The third house is also siblings and I believe cousins. So there might be a concentration of your focus on them for whatever reason. I also see like a family of origin scenario playing out with you in October. So there could be some like involvement with siblings, and Venus is in the fourth house of home and family at this time. So getting along with your mother and also benefiting financially from her could be featured when Venus is in the fourth house. The fourth house can be your home, your residence, and Venus could bring money. So you might be selling your home and receiving the profits from it, or gathering the money so you can buy a house. Mercury is in the third house. Mercury rules contracts and, again, communicating with siblings. But the thing is, maybe there is some kind of family property that you are hashing out with your siblings related to your mother's side of the family. And everything at the beginning of the month is fine and dandy. But then on the 5th, Venus goes retrograde in this fourth house. So there could be like a holdup of some sorts. Now, this is the beauty of predictive astrology because, and even these forecasts, remember that this is general, based upon taking every person who happens to be a Leo and acting like they have the same chart, and they don't, whether you're Sun Leo or rising Leo. And so other than getting a personal reading, when you listen to these kinds of forecasts, keep that in mind and understand that the timing may be a bit different for you. But the theme may play out, maybe not in October, but in the general vicinity. This could happen for you. But this is important, though, in terms of the Venus retrograde, because that isn't going to translate. You're not going to have the Venus retrograde in the fourth house in all cases. And so it will be dealing with a different house for some of you. Venus retrogrades on the 5th in the fourth house at 10 degrees of Scorpio. And this could mean that there's some kind of rethinking of a purchase, or something else isn't quite right. And the beauty of knowing these transits is that if something does go wrong and you know about it in advance, you're not going to freak out as much. If you're just like wandering around in life and you don't know anything about astrological transits, you can be like overreacting because you start to go, what is going on here? I think, what I wanted to say, I think I've been all over the map here, but what I wanted to say about Venus retrograde and what the experts suggest is not to buy something during it, because they say that it could be one of those situations where you end up paying more than you think you're going to pay because something isn't quite right in terms of it might look good, but then it has a lot of problems. Because if you think about it, Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, and it can put you under its spell. But somebody was writing to me and saying, if I meet somebody during Venus retrograde, does this mean that this isn't going to last? Well, see if it lasts. Don't treat everything like it's doomed because it's in a retrograde cycle. That becomes superstition in my estimation, and then astrology is working against you. It's kind of funny for me to say that, and then I guess I'm trying to have it both ways, aren't I? But I really think that we can look at things and say, well, there might be a challenge here, but ultimately, even if there is a challenge, it's temporary because Venus goes direct on November 16th. So this too shall pass. But, another thing about this is if you've had some kind of truce with your mother or something like that, there could be something that kind of like gets tossed up again. So look at your relationship as being authentic. Try to be as authentic as possible. Sometimes Venus is all about show. And I think that whenever we are standing in our truth, we are going to naturally attract good juju to us. The other thing too, because the Venus retrograde is going to hit your fourth house, and then your third house, it could be a situation where, let's say you live in a very affluent area and you're paying through the nose, where you might say, whoa, wait a second. Am I paying for status? Am I paying so that I can brag about, yeah, I live in this area and blah, blah, blah. And what am I really getting for it? What is the value of this? And what is my self-esteem? How is that tied into this? Because the second house that Venus rules, but Venus too can be about your self-esteem and how much you love yourself. And sometimes people confuse money with love, and sometimes they use status symbols and just material objects to kind of either get other people to love them or to feel good about themselves. And yet they're not really enjoying, where they're living. So this is like a really big deal. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are dealing with this, because Leo is a sign that likes to put on appearances, Leo wants to live large and things like that. And sometimes you have to really consider your quality of life. You may be spending a lot of money and therefore energy to make that money on something that is just a facade. And I know, based on my local area, is that, gosh, the property taxes are ridiculous. I rent, but I mean, I just can't fathom how people put up with this crap, because, yeah, I mean, it's a nice area and everything. And I suppose if you want to, put your kids in a good school system, but some people don't even have kids and they're paying these ridiculous taxes. So just consider that, like the overall picture. And so then on the 8th, you have a new moon in Libra, and that's your third house. And this can be some kind of a new relationship you develop with your siblings based upon everything you've been talking with them. Maybe you're like at a stage now where you can understand each other in a better sort of way. Maybe you've kind of like told them things about yourself when you were talking that allowed you guys to bond, and that has made the relationship go into a new phase. Or this could be, the third house is the local area. So that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the fourth house and your current location, real estate and things like that. You could be investigating different locations, and maybe you found this new city or suburb that really speaks to you. and you think you can really establish roots there. The roots are the fourth house, but the actual geography is the third house in terms of the, and it's also, what you invest into your local area. And this is teaching and learning, so there could be new opportunities there. Writing. On the 9th, Mercury goes into the fourth house of home and family and real estate. And Mercury can be contracts. So you may be dealing with a contract, either buying a house or selling a house. Who knows? Talking to the mother. On the 23rd, the sun goes into Scorpio. Sun joins Mercury in that house. So more of your attention is placed, and your energy is placed on home matters, domestic matters. The next day, full moon in Taurus, 10th house of career. So this could be a time of recognition for Leos. If you're in the entertainment business, it could be a time of fame, where you are seen by many people, like in a public way. It could be a culmination of your efforts, so there could be some kind of either recognition or success, promotion. On the 31st, Halloween, we have 2 transits. Mercury going into Sagittarius, and that is your 5th house of love. So Mercury is traveling from home and family to love and creativity. This could be talking to someone who becomes a love partner. This might be a little bit down the line. Maybe you're just meeting them for the first time. And on the same day, Venus, which is still retrograding, is now in Libra, in that 3rd house. So that's another time to really kind of estimate how is where I live connected to my self-esteem and to my pocketbook. Are they really connected? Could I live in a place that has lower property values but still is nice? And I could still have a good life and have a better quality of life, actually, because maybe you're trying to downsize. Maybe you'd like to work less hours, and you don't want to have to just work for this house that's really big and things like that. So it might even be like downsizing and that kind of thing, as well as the neighborhood you live in. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you like this style of astrology that I do, you might want to check out my natal chart interpretations. I have a link for the big one and the one that just deals with the trends for the coming year. So check below this video, and have a great month. Bye.